I know. It's been almost 2 weeks since we have uploaded. I do apologize. I see your comments asking where we have been. I had ordered some stuff for the hatch to get it back up and running. I had to get that transmission from popping out of second gear. Got everything here, waited for it to all show up. I got the transmission pulled apart, and turns out I needed another part. So I was kind of bummed out because I had to wait again for the hatch. So this thing has been sitting all in pieces for quite some time now. So while that was going on, I also had a project that I've been working on off camera that I'm hopefully going to show you guys here pretty soon. We have to see how it's going to turn out because I don't even know if it's going to work. It's kind of one of those crazy ideas I got once again. And Wyatt's been working on his truck. He has an event that he is getting ready to bring that to. So he has been filming some stuff, which you guys will see in an upcoming video. We got more progress done on the tube chassis Civic with the sheet metal being really close to being finished up. And in today's video, we got the hatch finally finished up and we got the transmission fixed. And then we also got some like bonus RC plane footage, but we haven't had too much else going on over the last couple weeks. I have been filming this other thing, like I said, but I was honestly a little burnt out in between some of that as well. And I just decided to kind of kick back for a little bit and kind of, take a little bit of a break. So I apologize, but I'm back now. Got to do it every now and then. I get a little burnout sometimes, but we're here. And today in this video, we're going to be fixing up the hatch and we will be getting back into the regular scheduled content. Well, there's really no schedule, but whenever we can post. All right, guys, we got the transmission pulled back out of the hatch here to see if we can find out what happened with that second gear wanting to pop out. We got this right here. This came all the way from Greece. This is a new second gear itself, along with the slider where the dogs engage. So I'm assuming that is our issue. I didn't want to tear this thing apart until we had parts in hand. That right there cost me $1,000 and we had to wait for this to get shipped over from Greece, but we got it. So we're gonna go ahead and tear into this thing and hopefully that will solve our issue and we can reassemble this and it will be good to go. So I got the transmission pulled apart here and the dogs on second gear are definitely really rounded off. You're not gonna really be able to see it on camera because it's up underneath here. But it's definitely why it's popping out of second. And we could just fix that, but I also got some more bad news right here. If you look at first gear, a couple teeth are really badly chipped. Also probably hard to see. That one's really bad right there. And then this one has a good nick taken out of it. And there's a couple others. We could probably send it on this if I really had to, but I was able to get another first gear on the way, also coming from Greece. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play it smart and hold off on the hatch for right now and wait till I get that first gear in as well, and then we'll put it all back together and then it should be good to go. I was just hoping to get this back together without having parts laying around, but we are gonna have some stuff sitting, and I was hoping to get the hatch ready for another little all-wheel drive no prep shootout that Cletus is putting on, the same one we brought the Platycee to, and I'm sure you guys would like to see something other than the Platycee out there, so I thought it'd be cool to bring the hatch out there and see how it would do on a no prep, but I'm not sure if we'll get the new gear in time for that or not. We're gonna wait and see. Hopefully we can get the car together, get it on some radials because they don't let us run slicks doing that, and we'll try to get the hatch out there. And if not, we always have the Platycee as a backup because it's just ready to go. Just charge it up and it doesn't skip a beat. We were also thinking about bringing the Raticee, but I also have to tear its transmission apart and see why it's not going into fourth gear. So lots of broken transmissions around here, but we'll get it put back together here once we get that first gear, and we'll get the hatch back up and going, and hopefully we can bring it out to that no prep event. So Wyatt has the transmission out of the truck for the 34th time now.
Yeah,
hopefully
let's not talk about that.
Hopefully this will be the last.
Yeah, so with any luck, we have got the problem figured out. So it only took spending $400 on a specialty tool that I'll never use again to figure out what went wrong, but I believe we pinpointed the issues with this thing that we've been having ever since we broke it at UCC. So you can see over here, we have the old valve body that was on the truck. This is a Jake's D3 trans brake valve body. It's pretty much just a stock valve body that they modify with a separator plate, a couple of billet pieces here for the trans brake, and some internal mods on that so that it all works together fine. It's a decent valve body, but it uses stock valves and they are really prone to getting stuff in them and like wearing out the bore, in which happened to this one. It appears that the torque converter limiting valve is worn out because it failed to hold a vacuum, and that means that when fluid is running through it, it's leaking and it's not actually putting that pressure where it needs to go, and it was like way below spec. So
which is causing the slip.
yeah, so like that's been our problem, is like messing up lockup and it's slipping the converter and acting like a dump valve's open and just all kinds of goofy things. And I believe it was all because of that valve being extremely leaky. And hopefully the new valve body that we have on the transmission here is going to take care of that for us.
Nice new billet valve body up in there.
Yep. So the other one was nice because we could use our control module or PCS control module to electronically shift everything. We didn't have to do anything manually. So that's kind of the reason I went with that in the first place. But this one here is a completely full manual valve body with trans brake and lockup in every gear if we want to. And it's we now have to shift it manually because it no longer has electronics to shift it. But it's kind of nice because you get rid of all the valves in the valve body. It has one valve that moves to select your gear, and that's it. Gets rid of all the stock junk with the OEM valve body. And also a lot better trans brake solenoid. This thing releases much faster and will bump a lot better than the D3 did. So with my bump box in the truck, you could hit that thing and it only worked in one position. It was not adjustable. So luckily it worked all right for us. So when you hit it, it would bump a little bit, but that was it. It was very picky about how it worked. So the new valve, a lot better, a lot faster releasing. Looking forward to using that. A lot of 400 guys will notice that. It's the same trans brake solenoid you've got in your 400 out there for the Civic. So really nice unit.
Kind of a weird statement, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, kind of.
In the 400 that's in the Civic.
Yeah, not a lot of people will catch that unless they watch the channel, but really nice piece. The valve body is really nice, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it works. A buddy of mine, Rick Fleets, runs one in his Duramax Chevelle and has been having a lot of good luck with it. So hopefully that takes care of our problems. This thing I went through the entire transmission, so it is ready to go back into the truck. Everything's stacked up great, clearance is great. So if it doesn't work now, the truck is for sale, dude. I'm over it. But it should be good. So
I think this should do it. She's
hope.
making all that horsepowers and torque, so you just need to put it down.
Exactly. So we got to get this in there, and then I've got a couple other big upgrades that we're doing to the truck, and then we'll be ready for our first race here in April, the Outlaw Diesel Super Series.
Nice.
So yeah, hopefully this fixes our problem though, because this is definitely one of the big items that needs to be addressed in the truck, and if this doesn't work, then there's no point in doing everything else I'm about to do. But
so hopefully it pays off, because lots of rewiring and
yeah,
a ton of other stuff. You might look simple just adding this into the trans, but
yeah, it's
he's
a big
redoing
change.
A lot of the things inside the truck as well.
Yeah, so we're getting rid of the stock shifter that's in it, the transmission control module, all that goes, because it's now a new shifter. It's reverse pattern instead of standard. We're also going to an air shifter now. So a lot of cool upgrades. We'll show you guys more of that later, but right now this is the item that we need to get addressed, and should be good to go.
Seal her up.
Seal her up, slap her in.
Set it and forget it.
Yeah, probably not. It's still a 480. It'll be back out soon, but.
All
right, guys, we're out here at the flying field. You guys remember my OG Blue Viper?
Took my breath away.
She's gone. She's one with the trees back over there somewhere. So I got a new one. This is the upgraded version, and I did do a maiden flight yesterday with it, but we're out here today with some friends and we're just out here flying. So
what a unit. I'd hate to see it get crashed and destroyed.
that would be unfortunate.
I'd hate to see that. That'd be so sad. I'd be really upset. Oh, as we got a cub in the background.
Oh no!
On the ground. Boink. Oh. Wow, that thing's fast. That's super fast. Oh,
Oh God, I missed it. Landing gear down. And nice landing. Dang, dude. It's like you've done this before.
I'm just happy to see her on the ground and not in a tree. I blame my signal going out on the last one. It was probably my fault, but we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, that was totally my excuse when I just crashed my plane.
I think it just got a little too far out on me and I lost orientation, if we're being honest.
Man, this is a good looking plane. Heck yeah.
Made it back in one piece.
Ready? Ignition's on. Should I open or not? Yeah.
The flute in the background's a nice touch.
Rip over there, just on the flute.
Hitting the flute, dude.
There she is. Thing's beautiful. So cool. Looks real on the camera.
Oh, Kyle did.
That thing's terrifying. It's a lot of weight coming at you. Alright, here we go. Low and fast. Oh, that thing is so sick.
It's really is for like it kind of has a weed whacker sound on its island, but when it's ripping by you,
Sounds like a miniature.
good thing I turned the engine off.
Holy, we're leaking fuel.
I tried to shut it off before it landed to be cool, and it just worked out.
That worked out perfect, actually. We would have been putting a prop on that thing.
I think when I turned it off, it lost the airflow over the tail, and I just had nothing to pull it back, so I kind of banged on down there. I was trying to be cool.
A little scuff on the
Not
nose
very
cone.
cool though, but I tried. Now we know.
No, it is kind of nice.
You can fly it here.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of those types of planes, man, that you can just one battery will last you.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's the battery.
Coming around.
Glide her in. Beautiful.
That was the battery dying. Hell yeah.
It's always if you say one more time,
Yep.
you know?
All right, guys, it's been a little over a week. Got the transmission completely apart here, and we got the new first gear in. So that guy's right there. You can see the old one that came out of it. So we had some pretty chipped teeth on that guy. And we got the replacement right here. You can also get a better look at the second gear dogs. That's why it was popping out of gear. They're definitely pretty rough. So got a new second gear along with the selector ring as well. So we're gonna go ahead and put this thing all back together. Everything else looks great.
And this will probably be the last time this thing goes together with this gear set. If something does break again in the future, I will probably go a different route, but you know, we'll cross that bridge once we get there. For now, we got everything to put this thing back together. With the power level, the hatch is on. There should be no reason we see any failures anytime soon, so hopefully this will last us quite some time. But yeah, let's go ahead and get her all put back together here. So we got the transmission all back together here for the hatch. Went through it, checked it's going into every gear good. Everything feels smooth and great. We did pull the transfer case off of it though, because I put it on there and I noticed once I fully tightened it down, it kind of bound things up. So it seems like once this case tightens down and flexes, there's something in there that is not perfect. So it spins over pretty smooth, but there's one spot that right when you get to it, it starts to bind up right there. And I mean, yeah, it starts to lock up a little bit. So we're just gonna go ahead and pull this thing apart. There it is again. And make sure that that's nothing major. Obviously, it's just a very slight bind, but we wanna go through it, make sure nothing's wrong, because we also found out that the drive shaft had a couple issues. So if you look over here, this is one of the carrier bearings that was holding our viscous and drive shaft up, and that guy is completely blown, missing some of her balls inside of there. So we have been driving around with that for quite some time. You can see all the heat that that thing saw, and we were wondering why this thing was vibrating so much and making all these noises driving around. Definitely had to do with that. This one is not in any better shape. So we got some fresh carrier bearings from our boys over at S1 Built. So we got some new carrier bearings to go together when we get the drive shaft back up in there. But for right now, we're just gonna put this thing in without the transfer case. We got this nice little block off plate right here, and we'll tear this thing apart, just go through it, because I don't wanna have any more failures hopefully with this. This is one of our nice ones with the billet case and the upgraded innards, so want to make sure everything's good to go there, because these are not cheap to put together. So we'll go ahead and get the trans in the hatch. She'll be front wheel drive until we confirm that all this stuff is good, and then this can go back on there and the drive shaft can go back in, and she should be good to go. All right, we got the transmission back in the hatch here. Got her topped off with fluids. Brand new first and second gear here, so we shouldn't have that issue with second gear popping out. And we have a new first gear. Got rid of that old chipped one. We're gonna go ahead and take this thing down the street, make sure it goes through all the gears okay, make sure it's not popping out of any gears. And it is still in front wheel drive mode right now. Like we said, we have that transfer case off of it just to make sure we can go through that, make sure it has a good, clean bill of health. Plus, we have to get some other things addressed, like those bearings and stuff, on the all-wheel drive drivetrain. So I just want to drive it without all that stuff to make sure the trans is good to go. And yeah, it's been a while since we've driven this thing front wheel drive, so let's go ahead and take it down the street. All right guys, so we're just gonna make sure we have all the gears. Right now we're in first. We got second, make sure it doesn't pop out. Good to go. Third, most important gear. Well guys, we just got back from our drive. The transmission feels great, not popping out of any gears. Everything feels good to go. The hatch is remaining 8 series. Don't worry guys, I was just a little frustrated. I was just trying to get some parts and get this thing back up and going, but the transmission is all in there, good to go. We just gotta double check some things on the all-wheel drive, and we'll get the all-wheel drive components back in the car, and it'll be good to go. I was really tempted to do a fat, like, third gear burnout down our street and get the tires smoking. I do miss the good old days of going down the highway and just watching the needles on the RPM and mile an hour just wrap around on the instrument cluster. I'm sure you guys remember the good old days, high horsepower Hondas, front wheel drive with no traction. I really do miss that. I was feeling extra nice to the neighbors today to not make a ton of noise, but tomorrow is always a new day, boys. So we'll see about that, but figured you guys have been waiting for a video long enough. The hatch is up and operational, and yeah, you know, after all these years of doing YouTube, we're still over here just fixing transmissions on the hatch. Nothing much has changed, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you later.